Tēnā tātou katoa, ko hui mai nei roti te karanga o tō tātou kaupapa i te rānei me ngā kaupapa nui i rungi o tō tātou pukowhiwhi. Mihi ana, ahakoa, heke ana te ua, ka tai koutou roti te manaakitanga o tō tātou whale, tēnā koutou katoa. Nā reira ka huri. Morning everyone, I'm just going to do a mihi whakatau, offer some words of welcome, some thoughts ahead of today's proceedings, but welcome. Apologies for the weather, those of you outside of Auckland. Yesterday was awesome. Bright sun, we all got sunburnt. So this is a good balance for how things are going this week. Hoi anō, ko Michael Steedman tōku ingoa, ko te Kairataki. I'm the Deputy Pro-Vice Chancellor Māori here at the University of Auckland, Waipapa Taumata Rau, and I'll deliver our whakatau now. Nā reira, tēnā tātou katoa. Hoi anō, e mui I tēnā māku I tuku tō tātou karakia. Nā reira kia inoi tātou. A tērā I ta mātauranga te pākaru mai nei hururu tau he ruru matua. He ruru tawhito ki ne pukanga ki ne wānanga. Kia e te tohunga anu ki tohunga rangi ki te wai o tū, ki te wai whakaika, ki te wai ki nei tauira. He wai tapu, he wai nui, he wai ora oi. Ka pepe, ka wawai, ka porotū te mokapu taurarangi e, he reki he tupua, ka puta ki te whai au, ki te ao marama, whanno, haramai te toki. Haumi e, hui e, tā ki e. He ha te hau, e wawara. He tiu he raki. Nāna ia mai te puputara ki he kiota. E tiki nā tū au te kōtū ko I te pau whakairoka tū ki te wai te mata I oku wairangitanga e. Ti hewa mauri ora. I aku nui, aku rahi koutou katoa ngā muka tangata, ko here mai nei I roti te karanga o tō tātou whale, I roti tēnei kaupapa hui a kai manawa, nau mai, haere mai whakatau mai. Nau mai ki tēnei whale a tāhua. Ki tēnei pito o tātou nei, a Waipapa, e mihi ana kia koutou. Hara mai I roti te karanga o tō tātou kura, I roti tēnei a Waipapa anō, I roti te whakaaro ko tahi, whakatau hoki I roti tēnei reo a Ngāti Whātua Rākei, e mihi ana, e tangi ana kia koutou katoa. Huri taku whakaaro ki te kāinga tawhito, puta tau te whero, tuatahi, me tuna mokapunu, puna, ngā wai hono I te pō, te ariki nui, noho ia I te ahurewa tapu, rātou katoa I te kāhui āriki menaki ki aia. Kei ngā tini mate, wainga nui ia mātou, huhu o te wā, I roti a mātou manawa, hine ngā ro hoki, koutou ngā mate katoa, haere atu rā. Rātou kia rātou, noho ki reira, e moi. Tātou kia tātou, noho ki konei, ki tēnei whare mahana, a tēnā koutou, a tēnā koutou katoa. E mihi ana kia koutou mai te taha o tēnei wāhi a Waipapa, te wāhi tuatahi I roti te ao marama, te ao tuatahi o te hanga a Auckland nei, he wāhi hoko, he wāhi tuku, ngā mātauranga, nā rau emi, nā kaupapa katoa, I te timatanga o tēnei siri o tātou, e mihi ana kia koutou. Kia koe, te ambassador, tēnā koe, tō tainga mai anō, I roti tēnei whale, kia koe hoki, te Consul General, e mihi nui kia koutou, me ngā minita I rungi te tiwi, miritaki kōrero I te ata nei. Hoi anō, ka huri a hau, ki te reo tōku tupuna, John Manfred Steedman, whakamara mai tātou katoa. I'll turn back now to the language of my ancestor, John Manfred Steedman, from Fife in Scotland, without the Scottish accent. Just to reiterate these words of welcome. My opening gambit was a saying that we have here in Tāmaki, hea ha te hau. What is that murmuring on the north wind yonder? And this saying's been applied to many visitors from all parts of the world in this part of the country as we describe those coming upon the north wind into the harbour here, so that they can tewa their waka, and we can begin conversation, we can begin trade, we can begin sharing, we can begin holding and maintaining our relationships. So it's tradition or it's custom that we acknowledge people that have come from many parts of the world. We acknowledge our Ambassador and Consul General. We acknowledge our ASEAN whānau that have arrived here as well as all of their members from near and far that have joined us in our beautiful whale. And we acknowledge too that the city is pumping at the moment with the World Indigenous Peoples Conference in Education, where 5,000 some delegates have taken over central Auckland. This is a good thing. And so you all are part of that as we sit and acknowledge time together, the opportunity to wānanga and share ideas. And one of the things that I talked about in my kōrero too is that modern trade began here in Auckland, just down the bottom of the hill. And so the first settlements as they were happening, the supply of produce to the growing city as it was all here. So it's an appropriate place to have a conversation like this. And in our whale as well as a tohu or beacon of our Pacific nature as well, alongside a tangata whenua. So with that, mihi ana kia koutou. Rain's a good thing. I'm going to sing a waiata that exemplifies that before I hand over to our Deputy Vice-Chancellor Erik Lithander, to Jennifer to do the housekeeping. I forget about those things. Mihi ana kia koutou katoa, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Puri ane e te hau, horoia e te ua, whiti e te rā. Mahea ke ngā, poraruraru, makere ana, makere ana, maere. Hoi anō, tēnā tātou katoa. Those of you going to Metallica, have fun. We're now going to hand over to Professor Jennifer Curtin. Kia ora.
Kei te mihi nui ki a koe, Michael, for the welcome. Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai haere mai ki te waipapa taumatarau. Mōria mai o koutou e ngā kou, o koutou he ngaro, o koutou wairoa. Nō reira nau mai haere mai koutou. Ko Jennifer Curtin toko wingoa ki te waikato e whakatapuo. Nō kirikiri roa aho, tēnā koutou katoa. So my name's Jennifer Curtin, and with Suzanne and the team from the PPI and the fabulous team at MFAT Auckland office, we are your engine of organisation today. Any problems that happen, just come see us. And I want to welcome everyone as well on behalf of the team at the PPI, our event services, our colleagues at MFAT Auckland office to this, our 7th Auckland Trade and Economic Policy School. Before I hand over to Professor Erik Lithander to welcome you formally, there's some housekeeping matters, as always. So the toilets are to our left down the corridor, my left, that way, the corridor in the Pacific Studies building. Smoking's not allowed anywhere on the campus. Please do not consume refreshments in the open area immediately outside this whale. It's sacred. If you want to be outside in this wet weather, take your food that way. If there's a fire, please make your way in an orderly fashion to Wynyard Street. In addition to the food and coffee you can find here, if you're a coffee aficionado, you can also buy it at the Business School Cafe, which is out here and up the steps. This event is intentionally labelled a school, in part because we are a university and a place of learning, but also because our goal is for you to learn from each other through active participation in the coming hours. To join the panels by asking questions, we have roving mics, and by networking during the breaks, which are intentionally long. And I do just want to do a shout out. We have 30 trade officials from the ASEAN economies on my right joining us today, so do please make yourself known to them. Finally, just to let you know that we are recording these sessions, so that our Master of Public Policy and PhD students can engage with your insights post-conference, all part of the school. So kia ora anō, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm going to hand over to Professor Lithander now, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor Strategic Engagement. Thank you, Erik.
Morena tato nau mai haere mai. Good morning and welcome everyone. I always get slightly anxious following Michael speaking because Michael has such a phenomenally beautiful singing voice. And the very first time I met Michael, I had only just moved to New Zealand and joined the university in this role. And it might very well have been at ATEPS a few years ago, our first time ever interacting. And Michael said to me that in his tradition of many hundreds of years, it is a tradition that after you've spoken, you sing a song. And I reflected on this and I said, Michael, in my tradition, a 1,000-year-old tradition, it's the tradition that members of my family should under no circumstances sing in public. And to this day, we've managed a cordial détente where he does the beautiful singing and I stick to the speaking. Welcome to Waipapa Taumataro, the University of Auckland. I'm delighted to see you and to meet you this morning for the Auckland Trade and Economic Policy School 2025 edition, an event which year after year has consistently delivered highly informed and robust conversations and terrific contributions from our visiting speakers. And I have no doubt that this year will be the same, but more, and especially in this beautiful Fale, which I think has the most amazing capacity for facilitating dialogue and bringing people together. And I have no doubt that you will feel its energy during the course of the day. A special welcome to the Honourable Nicola Grigg, Minister of State for Trade, who will be joining us by live video feed a little bit later. His Excellency Lawrence Meredith, the EU Ambassador to New Zealand, and Matt Lee, the UK Trade Councillor for the Asia Pacific. A warm welcome also to Sophie Warner-Fogg, the UK Consul General, Deanne Lacoste, the trade lead from the EU New Zealand delegation, and our international keynote speakers, Dr. Deborah Elms and Professor Peter Draper. And of course, our 30 ASEAN trade officials who are joining us as part of their Manaki Scholar training. You're all very, very welcome. As ever, our thanks to the New Zealand Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Trade for their collaboration in putting this day together. I will also like to acknowledge the Honourable Todd McClay, Minister for Trade, who is a huge supporter of ATEPS, unfortunately not able to join us in person this year due to travel commitments relating to the India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement discussions. And as far as excuses for not attending go, I cannot think of a more appropriate excuse considering what ATEPS is all about. The Minister has sent us a pre-recorded video which we'll show just after I've spoken. So ATEPS is the creation of the University of Auckland's Public Policy Institute under Jennifer's leadership, the PPI, which was launched in 2017, and it has established itself as a well-connected and influential research institute that supports the professional development of policymakers through its Masters of Public Policy, its PhD program, its connections and partnerships with a wide range of organizations, many of whom are in the room this morning, and the production of evidence-informed research, which is focused on policy processes and outcomes. And in 2019, PPI began working with MFAT to deliver this annual Auckland Trade and Economic Policy School. And since then, we've delivered it in person and then online in hybrid format, now back again in the rain, but hopefully not for long this morning. This is the 7th iteration of ATEPS, and we are delighted to once again have silver sponsorship from the UK High Commission, and this year also have bronze sponsorship from the EU New Zealand delegation. We're very grateful for that. Content-wise, this year ATEPS will be focusing on the ongoing challenges and opportunities for businesses engaged in trade, given the obvious disruptive geopolitical environment that's facing exporters all around the world. And the panels in this school bring together experts from a range of sectors which are going to share their insights into the realities, strategies, and practices that are likely to impact our capacity for resilience and continuing to grow exports. Given that the international education sector is a major contributor to New Zealand's export revenue and is a key plank of the government's current drive to double the value of exports by 2034, these are issues which are quite close to my heart as well, and I will be very interested to hear about the outcomes of your conversations at this year's ATEPS. So once again, welcome. We're delighted to welcome you to Waipapa Tamataro, the University of Auckland. I know you've got a busy day ahead of you, but I hope that during those breaks that Jennifer mentioned, you do have a chance to walk around the campus when the weather improves a little bit, and enjoy what I'm sure you will find is a very warm welcome from the University of Auckland community. And if we can help you in any way during the course of the day, do please let us know. It's now my pleasure to introduce the video address from the Honourable Todd McClay. He's the Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Forestry, for Hunting and Fishing, Minister for Trade, and Associate Minister of Foreign Affairs. He has been a MP for Rotorua since 2008. He's held several ministerial roles in the 5th National Government, with portfolios including trade, state-owned enterprises, and revenue. Enjoy your day. Ka kite anō.
Good morning and welcome to the 2025 Auckland Trade Economic Policy School. I'm so sorry I can't be there with you in person today. When you're watching this, I'll be travelling to Melbourne to attend the CPTPP ministerial meetings, having also been in Singapore, India and China over the last week. ATEPS brings together important perspectives, voices and insights to New Zealand's trade and economic policies. It's an important opportunity to reflect on the current global context and trends to ensure that New Zealand's policies are fit for purpose and deliver the best outcomes possible for all New Zealanders. I understand that today you will be thinking about resilience and future-proofing New Zealand's trade policy amid challenges of tariffs, trade barriers and global shifts in approaches to trade. New Zealand is a trading nation, one that relies on a rules-based trading system to provide clarity and certainty for New Zealand businesses and exporters. This system has helped New Zealand remain competitive and world-leading despite our size and geographical isolation. But the global strategy and strategic environment is changing rapidly, from supply chain disruptions and energy vulnerabilities to shifting geopolitical alliances. Regional and multilateral institutions like APEC and the WTO, which have supported New Zealand's interests for decades, are being severely tested. The US administration's tariff agenda has required countries to recalibrate their trade policies and reconsider their own domestic settings. In this environment, New Zealand must be agile, strategic and forward-looking. New Zealand cannot afford to be passive observers of global change. Instead, New Zealand needs to be active participants in shaping it. New Zealand has a long history of mitigating against economic shocks, moving from crisis to competitiveness, and historically New Zealand has done well thanks to innovative solutions that New Zealand businesses and exporters will find to challenges that they face. The government is responding with purpose. Disruptions create potential for transformation, and I'm focused on making the most of the opportunities that come with change. The New Zealand government has been working hard to ensure that New Zealand businesses are equipped to do the same. Firstly, we're continuing to pursue high-quality FTAs with new partners and new markets. And as you'll know, New Zealand is currently negotiating a trade agreement with India. I'm speaking to you from India, where I've been engaging with my trade counterpart to agree a deal that benefits both the people of New Zealand and India. With a population of 1.4 billion and GDP estimated to grow to $5.2 trillion by 2030, India offers significant opportunity for our exporters. I'm also leading our New Zealand forestry delegation, helping create business connections, but also highlighting new opportunities for the sector in India. The UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement entered into force this year after what was New Zealand's fastest ever trade negotiation, done in just 4 months. Trade with the UAE is currently worth around $1 billion, with significant potential to grow, 98.5% of our exports can enter the UAE market tariff-free. In addition to goods with a particular premium for New Zealand's high-quality food products, the UAE offers significant opportunity for innovative service producers and exporters. And last year, New Zealand also concluded a free trade agreement with the GCC, which will be signed soon, a market with $2.6 billion in exports last year, making it New Zealand's 7th largest market, and again, with significant potential to grow. Secondly, the government has an increased focus on leveraging the benefit of existing FTAs. I'm proud that around 3/4 of New Zealand's total trade is covered by FTAs. New Zealand celebrated 1 year of the early entry into force of the EU FTA, and we've seen increased focus on our exports to the EU of $2 billion in just 18 months. New Zealand welcomed the upgrade of the ANZ in ASEAN and Australia this year, a market with nearly $10 billion in goods and services exports. And the CPTPP remains our preeminent regional FTA, representing around 15% of global GDP, a total of around 18 trillion New Zealand dollars, with a long way to go in 20 years. I'll be at the CPTPP Trade Ministers meeting tomorrow, where we'll be joining with the EU and our Asian counterparts, and I'm pleased that the first dialogue will take place on the margins of that engagement. This dialogue demonstrates our commitment to a rules-based platform that is good for New Zealand exporters. The government's also building resilience and options for New Zealand exporters by increasing and resolving non-tariff barriers. This has been a key work stream of the government's Going for Growth agenda. New Zealand is actively using our existing FTAs to push for greater access and resolve barriers to trade, using rules to enforce and protect New Zealand's access and our interests, and monitoring tariff utilisation and making sure that New Zealand businesses aren't leaving money on the table. Lastly, economic security means having the capacity to grow sustainably. Attracting foreign direct investment is a key government priority to fuel innovation, create jobs, and ensure New Zealand can continue to compete on the world stage. Through the establishment of Invest New Zealand, and New Zealand is taking action to attract investment and enhance innovation in the industries of the future. This is being backed up with collaboration and coordination, investing in infrastructure, supporting innovation, strengthening intellectual property protection, and securing data environments and creating competitive business settings. New Zealand's trade strategy is clear. The government supports the rules, seeks partnership that help us thrive and invest in innovation. And in the face of economic challenges, known and unknown, it's important that the government, through sensible policy, gives New Zealand businesses and exporters as much certainty as possible, but also the right tools to navigate changes and have the information and ability to seize opportunities created by change. I hope you'll learn something new today, and I encourage you to think creatively about New Zealand and how we can make the most of the opportunities that lie ahead. Thanks very much for listening, and the very best of luck.